Thanks for tuning the video. Behind me, got the 2023 F250 Platinum. I really wanted F350, but this is what we got for now. We're gonna talk about what fits, what doesn't. I had some 35s on this truck with 1.5 lift. 35 1350s fit perfect, cleared perfect, and that worked. I went to a 37 1350, running the 3/8 hub-centric Bora spacers. I've got the Tremor Valance on it, and you can see up here we've got the 1.5 inch readylift blocks, and you can see the I just put a little aluminum strap on the sensor. And one of the things to look for, guys, when you're going to do the leveling kits on these, is you look right here on the sensor and mark it before you do anything. Then I just unbolted it from the arm and added the lift, put it back on, and just whatever the difference was, it needed to be right back where it was when you started. So just keep that in mind. I've got some options in the video I'll show you here in a minute. There's some people that make some links for that now. I want to keep this build reasonable. Like I said, we're trading this one in when my limited comes in. Looks like we're in the November build since the strike ended now. And I went ahead and did the Airlift 5000s. These are really good. They're very easy to put on. They work good on this truck, but I'm actually going to run the Air Logic, which is the Ready Airs, and I've got those in the shop. I'll show y'all everything that's going to go on my F350. But guys, very reasonable. Like, I think this is a $550 set of airbags, and this is the part number for the 1.5 ready lift, 662111. That's just the spacer. These airlifts are very easy to install. They go where the pump stops are. Literally all you do is you remove the bolts, take these little clips out, and they send new clips for bigger bolts. You put those in, bolt them up. Probably took an hour and a half to put the front spacers in, and probably took about an hour and a half to put the rear bags on. So not a lot of time, not a ton of money in all that, but it's got a pretty good look, pretty good stance, and you've got 1/2 inch of rake from the front to back. So if you're towing, you know, I like to load the rear suspension. I generally like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch rake on these trucks, and you can see that came out pretty good. 35 1350s, I had 0 rub anywhere, and it was a really good setup. Decided to go with the 37s. The other thing I added to this truck was, let's go back here to the back. Put this stuff back in here. Limitless Auto Works sells a pigtail if you want to add this dually light, basically, and that's the Ford OEM dually light. You can see it right there. It makes it plug and play. You just plug it into the bumper. Comes with a little harness. So anyway, that's my build on the F250. I really need a 350, but you know, Platinums are hard to find, especially with fifth wheel prep, because Ford had a shortage on those. So we'll walk over to the shop here and show y'all kind of what my plans are for my F350. But this is the 1.5 inch, like I said, 1/2 inch rake on the back, and that's how it sits. Okay, so some of the differences for my F350 is, right up front, we're looking at the 2.5 inch lift. Now on the 2.5, I like doing the full coils. So these are the ready lift coils right here, and then that's the track bar bracket and the ready lift shock extensions. So that's the 2.5 that's going to go on there. Now the problem is, when you do 2.5 in the front, you're going to be about a 1/2 inch low in the back. And so how you fix that is, you come over here and you order the stock Tremor blocks. These are them right here. These measure 3. I think the factory blocks that are in there are right under 2 inches. So this will actually give you, that's the part number right there, HC3Z5598-B. So if you ask me what the Tremor block part numbers is, I'm going to tell you, reference the video. So I like to run the 37 1350s. And so these are the 1 inch Bora hub centrics. Now in my other videos, I've explained these. These are the fronts. I've ran these on my other truck. I had to order a set of rears. For the F350, they have to make this bore a little bit bigger. That's why you have the deep center caps, because the F350 axle is a little bit bigger. So if you order these from Bora or Shifted or anything else, if you've got an F350 or even a 250 Tremor or 250 with the high capacity rear axle, you're going to need these. And you can see right there, they'll say HTC rear, and that kind of tells you that those are the two rear ones right there. Okay, for the airbag system, those work fine. I really like Ready Air, the Logic. These are basically two small bags, and they're over the leaf springs. Now, they just released a bracket that actually connects to the sensor. And so I've got all these ordered. I've got the bags, I've got the air tank, and the electric pump. And the air tank is nice because when you hook up your camper, you crank it up, it immediately comes up. You don't have to wait on the pump to build up. Other thing you see there is the S&B filters. I've got the cold air intake. Basically, that's just for sound. I know it doesn't do a lot for performance. I do like to hear my turbo a little bit. And this is the 35 or 37, I can't remember what size it is. I think this is RDS tank. Now, I have the rolling lock bed cover, or basically like the electric retracts cover. And so I have very minimal space between the drain tubes that come out. But this tank actually fits perfect. The only thing I had to do is take this to a welding shop, and there was two ports here that wouldn't slide up under the bed cover, and I had to get them to weld two caps right here to close that off. So it literally slides up under my bed, and it comes right there to the gauge, and it works perfect. So this tank, it's the auxiliary tank RDS 71804. And then for the fuel, I like to be able to keep this full and only use it when I want to. And from the cab, you order one of these on Amazon. This is US solid. It is rated for fuels. And I'm gonna tie it to auxiliary 1. When I want to open it up, I can flip my auxiliary 1 switch, and then it will gravity feed into the filler neck. So that's basically it. The other thing you're going to run into is when you put the air Logic system on, you'll actually remove your overload spring on your rear axle. Now, by doing that, you actually don't have to change your U-bolts to shift to these Tremor blocks, because you're going to add an inch when you put the Tremor block on. Walk around back over here to the back, and I'll show you. This is the overloads for my last truck, and you can see right here, when you remove this and that spring, your stock U-bolts will work. Now, if you're adding the Tremor block and keeping the overloads, you're going to need longer U-bolts like these. That's why these are sitting here, because I got to put my stock ones back in when I remove these and put the Air Logics on. And just for record, this is a standard block on just the FX4 truck. It's opposite sides, but you can definitely see the difference. Tremor block, standard FX4 block. Okay, and for the last piece, this is a kit from One Up Off-Road. It's a 105114, and these are adjustable links for the front. And basically, they're just all thread, so you can literally cut them to size, and you have an adjustable link that whatever lift you're putting on, whatever you're doing, and these are plenty long, guys. These are probably 4 inches longer than the stock ones. So if you're looking for adjustable links to keep those sensors right and keep everything right, One Up Off-Road has these. One Up Off-Road has some really good lifts too. I may even order his radius arm drops for mine, because those radius arm drops are, you know, that's what's going to make you ride. When you start opening the arms up, you know, for bigger springs, it's a higher angle, and so your ride's going to go down in quality. You know, to me, I either run the Carly arms that give me that alignment back, or I run the radius arm drops. And they have some 1.5 radius arm drops and some larger radius arm drops on One Up Off-Road site that you can get. So anyway, I hope the video helped you today. If you've got any questions, please hit that like and subscribe. Drop your questions below. I'll try to get them answered. But hope it helped you make your decision on whether you want to go with the 1.5 or the 2.5. I feel like the 1.5 is perfect if you're going to run 35s. You can clear the 37s on the 1.5. They do look a little bit stuffed to me, but it just depends on what look you're going for. I think a 37 1150 or 37 1250 probably would have very minimal rub. These mud grapplers are almost 14 inches, and so they rub the radius arms pretty hard without the 3/8 spacers. But when I put those on there, I got a little bit of rub at full lock. It's not bad, but I'm gonna go to the 1-inch spacers. I ran those in my last truck. I had 0 rub issues on the sway bar or the radius arm. 37 1350s and stock wheels on the 2.5. So anyway, I hope that helped you. Please hit that like, subscribe. If it did, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.